Thank you, Minister, and good morning. As the Minister has said, we now have 43 positive cases related to these two chains of transmission with over 10,000 primary close contacts. We have 165 exposure sites, 47,000 tests yesterday, with another 21,000 negative test results received since midnight last night in the early hours. They'll be part of tomorrow's numbers. I'll run through each of the outbreaks and give you some sense of how we're moving with each of those. The City of Hume outbreaks now stands at 6 cases, which includes a family of 4 and another household of 2. The new case is a second case in the second household. There are 215 primary close contacts for this entire outbreak. 2/3 of those have now returned a negative test result. We continue to work with the remainder to get their negative test results. With regard to the aerial apartments, there are now 7 positive cases. There's actually no change on yesterday associated with that. All 131 residents of the apartment complex are in quarantine for 14 days. There's a retesting cycle happening in the next couple of days. We have 189 confirmed primary close contacts, so there are some visitors and also to the retail units. 138 of those have returned a negative test result so far. All, of course, are in isolation. There are now 9 positive cases associated with Bacchus Marsh Grammar and the Barwon Heads Primary School. That's 3 new cases today, 2 of the staff and 1 student at Bacchus Marsh Grammar. We have no positive cases associated with Barwon Heads Primary apart from the original case. There are 371 primary close contacts at Bacchus Marsh Grammar. 81% of those have returned a negative test result. There are 578 primary close contacts at Barwon Heads Primary. 81% of those have also returned a negative test result. And can I thank again both sets of school communities. We are doing a lot more work at Bacchus Marsh Grammar in particular. Having focused originally on the staff cohort, we are now moving on to 2,300 students at that one campus to ensure they get tested over the coming days. They are, of course, started their isolation period a few days ago, so we'll now work through those to see whether there's been any further exposure to the student body. And I appreciate it's a troubling and concerning time for the parents and the families. We'll work through that over the coming days. In total, there are 14 cases related to the MCG through a number of different strands. I won't go through all of them, but I'll give you a quick summary of what we're dealing with. We have, of course, the Trinity Grammar teacher who also went on to visit the rugby at Amy Park and who also has a contact with a St Patrick's student. We have an additional case today, which is the 20-year-old male in the members' reserve at the MCG. So that's the one additional case at the MCG. That means that there are 5 positive cases in total in the MCG members' reserve on top of our index case. We've also got 2 social contacts who visited Phillip Island with the Trinity teacher, also in today's numbers. And we have 2 further Trinity Grammar staff members. So 3 staff members at Trinity Grammar in total are positive, and of course we continue to work with that student body. We've got 3 new positive cases at Frankie's Restaurant in Cremorne, and we have 1 student at St Patrick's in Burrumbina, so 1 additional student. In terms of overall activity levels at the moment, obviously the MCG is a very important part of our investigation. We now have 2,387 primary close contacts. About half of those have returned a negative test result. And please, if you are at the Geelong and Blues game last Saturday, you will have received numerous messages from us. We need you to come forward and complete your testing process so we can understand exactly whether we have any further exposures. All 5 cases were in that level 2 MCC reserve. That is our primary focus of activity, of course. At Amy Park, there are no positive knock-on cases at this point at Amy Park. We've identified 1,268 primary close contacts. They're all being contacted and they'll be going through their isolation and testing protocols, and we'll work with them over the coming days. Trinity Grammar, we have 362 primary close contacts, and at St Patrick's, we have 371 primary close contacts. 81% of those have already returned a negative test result, which is an encouraging sign. And then finally, we have 7 cases related to the Young and Jackson Hotel. So 2 cases in particular who were there, who we talked about yesterday. That included the Cerberus naval trainee. We continue to work with the naval base. That work is going well. We also have the household of one of the individuals who was at the Young and Jackson's Hotel which the Minister has talked through, and the partner of one of those household members. In total, we have 217 primary close contacts associated with Young & Jackson's. 79% of those have returned a negative test result. So as you can see, with over 10,000 people, 10,000 primary close contacts, all in isolation, all the cases we talked about today were identified primary close contacts. So we're confident that our approach, our fast and swift approach, has worked well so far in these outbreaks. But of course, it is so important that with all this focus on this contact tracing work we're going through with a significant number of active fronts, 7 key sites of transmission we've identified so far, we will continue, of course, to focus on those. As the Minister said, it's really important for all Victorians, please check those exposure sites. 165 exposure sites as of this morning. They will continue to evolve and change as we go through our interviewing process. It's so important that we identify people quickly who've been at those exposure sites. And again, the huge value of the QR code system in helping us track people down quickly and get hold of them quickly and give them accurate information. Obviously, a busy day of testing yesterday with over 47,000 results and another 20,000 overnight. We expect a similar busy time today. 14 of our sites opened at 7 o'clock this morning in different parts of the state. Details on our website, and we'll be interested to see whether those early opening hours are popular, and if so, we'll continue that kind of work. I'm expecting, again, a busy testing day today, but I'm pleased to say that with fantastic work by all of our testing crews, we managed to get through a busy day, and we'll keep going as we go forward. We have new testing sites today at Ballarat, at Aqua Nation in Ringwood, at the Knox Private Hospital in Wantirna, and at the Foresight testing station in Thomastown, which is a drive-through. We've also got a number of testing sites on Phillip Island, giving us a number of exposure sites on Phillip Island. This relates to the Trinity Grammar teacher and his 2 social contacts who spent a few days on the island. So we have a testing centre at Cowes, in Wonthaggi, and in San Remo. And again, I'd please encourage the community in Phillip Island and the surrounding areas around those exposure sites, please come forward and get tested today, and let's really understand very quickly what the scale of exposure may be in that area. We've also strengthened our freight response, and again, my thanks to the freight industry, many conversations over the last few days to maintain that critical interstate border freight operations, to now enable the freight industry to comply with the three-day testing requirement for interstate drivers. There is an additional Port of Melbourne testing site available for rail freight drivers and for dock freight drivers in particular. That is open 24/7. Tomorrow we'll be opening up freight testing stations at Beveridge and at Broadford. So those sites will come online soon, and we'll continue to work with the freight industry to make sure that they are well used. Finally, in terms of testing, we also deployed our new mobile testing platform yesterday for the first time. Great bit of work done by RMH and our colleagues at the Doherty. It's a mobile van with 4 testing fast processing sites within it. We deployed it yesterday at Bacchus Marsh and tested 80-odd people in the space of a few hours, including the identification of 1 positive case. So it was a good first day out. That van continues to operate today at Bacchus Marsh. Finally, can I please urge all Victorians to continue to maintain our isolation protocols. If you're one of those 10,000 people who is a primary close contact, if you're a red zone returnee, it is so important that you maintain that isolation. If you need any support from us, then please ask us to do so. I'll now hand over to Brett for his update, and then we'll take questions. Thank you.